And another one. This is historic. This is absolutely historic. I'm at the site of one of the earliest settlements in the Midwest. The historic significance here is through the roof. Note I am on private property, and I've got permission to excavate the grounds in search of artifacts. I'll take a walk around and see what's going on. If you look close, you'll see a sunken area. I had pushed a probe rod through the ground. I felt a loss of compaction, some objects, possibly some stove ashes. That's a good indicator of an early site. I'll get this thing opened up. Well, this is one of the earliest pits I've ever been in, and one of the most loaded. It's about the best combination you can get. Looks like some kind of a apothecary bottle. Oh, that thing is early. It's got a key mold bottom, no embossing. Wow. It's like a little apothecary piece, 3-piece mold. Again, that is so early. That's 1870s, 1860s, 1870s. All right, here we go. It's intact. That thing is so early. That is truly amazing. That is a piece of history right there. It's an English beer. This would have been imported back in the 1870s, hauled all the way out here to the frontier, likely on freighters. Woodson, Cobridge, ironstone china. I've never even dug that stamp in the Dakotas. And another liquor flask. Looks like a knife edge. No embossing on it. Would have had a paper label on the front. Another medicine, 3-piece mold. That could be army issued there. That's amazing. And another one. Top's broken off. A&DHC, it's a beer from the Chambers Glass Company. They were from out east, I think Pittsburgh. Another little 3-piece mold medicine, tool top, 1870s I believe, possibly 1860s. And another, sometimes these will be faintly embossed with a USA Hospital Department. That's United States Army Hospital Department. This one isn't though. Look at that. This thing's sat in the ground 150 years. CBM. I dug these on Fort Pembina. They're a food bottle of some sort. They're English made, super crude, applied tops on these things. What is this thing? Lion Manufacturing Company, New York. Mexican Mustang liniment. That thing is amazing. This could actually be 1860s. So it says Mexican Mustang liniment on this side. Lions and Company, New York. Now I'd like to point out this really crude applied top on it. See how the glass looks like it's dripping down? They stopped that kind of manufacturing process in the 1880s. But again, this is very likely 1860s. We may have something incredible right here. Look at that. Looks like a redware jug. The thing may actually be intact. It's intact. Look at that thing. This thing's got to be 1860s, 1870s. That's one of the oldest pieces I've pulled up. Over here, there's a couple pieces. Let's see here. I've dug these flared lip things before. Some kind of apothecary jars. Yeah, that's 1860s, 1870s. There's no embossing on it. All right, what is this thing here? It's got a crude applied top. So far, so good. Wow. Look at that. It's a 3-piece mold. Got a key mold bottom. What's this thing say? Pittsburgh. Frank and Sons? W. Frank and Sons, Pittsburgh. I'm not sure if that's the company for the product or the glass house that made this, but this thing's mint. Likely an 1860s piece. Really soft ground in here. Another Chambers beer, A&DHC. I think that's Pittsburgh. What is this? Looks like a wine bottle. Oh, an English ale. That thing's intact. Nice. It's a really nice green color. There's no end in sight. Got all kinds of pieces exposed here. This is one of the most fun excavations I've been on. Looks like a champagne bottle. That's possibly English made. An applied top. Another one of these medicines here. Applied top, key mold bottom, LG company. That's got to be 1860s, 1870s. Would have likely held some kind of medicine in it. Okay, might be another piece to that plate I dug earlier. That's ironstone china. It's kind of a utility ware, very popular back in the 19th century. Oh, I think I know what this is. Lee and Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. This is likely one of the English-made ones. Yeah, the earliest ones were made in England. Yeah, oh, that's really cool. I've heard of these being found on forts. I may have dug one on a fort, actually. It's 1870s, I believe. This is lime. They threw these down outhouse pits. Throw this down outhouse pits way back when to disinfect and neutralize the smell. There's layers of it down here. Look at that. So this is an old chamber pot. This would have broken way back when they threw it down. It was weak and it had some cracks on the bottom. You can see it's missing. Kind of fell apart when I tried to pull it up, but there's a bottle underneath it. Another little applied top medicine. Key mold bottom. Look at that thing. That's amazing. No end in sight. I noticed this beautiful green color sticking out of the embankment here, and I think it might be an old food bottle. Hard to say for sure. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Look at that. That is really something. That's a food bottle G&D on the bottom. Some kind of glass company likely. That's awesome. It's got some air bubbles in it. Really crudely made. I noticed this little thing sticking out. Looks like another little medicine liniment. Okay, Mexican Mustang liniment. These are found on early sites all across the US. I think I've even dug some in some earlier towns. Popular product on the frontier though, no doubt. I've got 3 bottles exposed here. 1, 2, 3. This will just start here. What do we have here? Looks like a really early wine bottle. That's a really nice green color. It's got a applied top on it. Over here we've got a crockery. Looks like maybe English ale of some sort. Oh, these things are so classic looking. Oh yeah, full of groundwater. Kennedy Potteries, I think Glasgow. Barrowfield Potteries, Glasgow. You can see the stamp on the heel there. They were a major manufacturer. I've dug bottles from this firm, I think out in Maine. Actually, this was English, an English ale. Oh, looks like some kind of a cooking pot, a kettle of some sort. That's cast iron. Now, is it intact? We've got another one. Wow. That's a beautiful color. These likely held pickles or capers, some kind of preserved goods. All this lime. This was definitely an old outhouse pit. Another food bottle. Another English made piece, really crude. Same stamping on bottom. That's got to be 1870s, very early 1880s. May have an intact plate here. Looks like ironstone china. No way. So that's the first intact piece of dinnerware we got. That is awesome. There's no maker's mark on the bottom. It's kind of a generic piece. I might have some kind of wine bottle. English ale of some sort. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. That's crude. That's a turn mold, I think, applied top, circa 1880. It seems like the stuff towards the top dates back to about 1880. Must have been around the time the pit was abandoned. And a little champagne bottle. That's cool. It's an applied top turn mold piece. Nice green color. I still haven't found bottom. This is amazing. There's a, looks like another English food bottle of some sort. I see the crude applied top. This one's a little squattier. This thing is beautiful. CBM on the bottom, just like the other ones. Look at that. Likely held capers or some kind of preserved goods. Now, these could be interesting. They have an odd shape. Okay, another Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce. That's the company that's still in business today. That's a crude one. I think this one's English made before they moved production to the US. And we have some kind of paneled piece here. Wondering if it's a medicine or a bitters of some sort. Oh wow, Burnett's Cocoa Ale from Boston. I found these in some of the earlier pits in the Dakotas. That's an applied top. You can see Burnett's Cocoa Ale. It's a patent medicine, I believe. I might have some kind of a dinner plate, some kind of ironstone china piece here. Beautiful whiteware. I think it might be intact. It is intact. Huh, it's got a stamp on the bottom. What's that say? Meakin Brothers and Company, Burslem. You know, usually they have a like a blue or some kind of black stamp. This is the first one I've seen that's actually stamped into it. That is really something. Looks like a canning jar and some kind of food bottle. Let's see here. Maybe an ironstone china plate. Half of a plate. J&G Meakin, 1869. I've never dug one of those stamps before. That's really cool. Must have broken it and discarded it down the pit. Hopefully I'll find the other piece. Some kind of English food bottle. Yeah, another one of these things. An applied top. Yep, CBM on the bottom. Those are really cool looking. A lot of seed bubbles. It's intact. That is amazing. That's a half gallon. Look at that. Mason's patent, November 30th, 1858. That's of course the patent date. They started making these, I think, 20 years after the patent expired. This has got to be one of the earlier ones, 1870s, I'm guessing. I'm absolutely blown away. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pottery beers and some kind of food bottle here. Another one of these English pieces. That's it got to be circa 1880. This one I've been working around. Look at that. That is a flared top. This thing's got to be 1870s. I think I've only dug one of these ever. That is amazing. There's so much stuff in here. Might have another beer. Maybe an ale bottle of some sort. Yeah, they were just kind of thrown in here. That is beautiful. That's got a, yeah, that kind of edged corner there. I'd never seen one like this. Broken ale bottle, maybe a beer. And maybe an intact one behind it. Look at that. That is unusual. That's a wild top. I was wondering, it was giving some resistance when I was pulling it out, and I'd never dug one like this either. No maker's marks. Definitely English made though. We got another one. Okay, it's broken. And a couple more down below. I don't even know where this pit bottoms out. And another one. I've never seen anything like this. Let's see here. Another one of those little weird top things. Got a chip out of the back side, no maker's marks that I can see. This pit is loaded, absolutely loaded. Another one of these things. Looks like they had a foil kind of band on the top, and must have had a wire it's held in the cork. A 3-piece mold. Okay, here we go. That's interesting. We've got a crown on the shoulder, so that's a mark of England right there. I've been calling these English ales. Now we have a solid confirmation there. You can see remnants of the foil band on top. Got another something here. That's amazing. It's filled with groundwater. You can hear it kind of unseal from the dirt there. That's, again, 1870s, I'm sure. Alright, and we've got another flared top example. These things are so cool. Looks like they must have been dipped on the top there to get that glazing. I think it's a zinc glaze of some sort. And another one. This is historic. This is absolutely historic. And we're just finding a cache of them here. I think we have an Igloo ink down here. These things are classic. Mark of the era for sure. Wow, that's intact. I don't find these things very often. They usually predate the settlement in the Dakotas. It's got a key mold bottom. You can see it's full of groundwater. Might have another English ale. Those with the crown on it. It's a 3-piece mold. This thing's almost pontilled. That thing is crude. It's got an early ale type top on it as well. And another, this one's got a little different top. Definitely an English-made piece as well. Could be related to the Hudson's Bay Company. Could it be? There it is. Look at that. ER squib. So this is incredibly significant. This guy, I believe, had a government contract with the Union Army during the Civil War and produced these bottles. They're always in these shades of green. This one looks mint. What do we have here? Looks like an extract bottle. No embossing, has an oval panel, would have had a paper label on the front. Now this I'm curious about. What do we have? Wow. It's a transferware piece, English transferware. It's got some kind of scene, looks like horses on it of some sort, and you can see it was damaged. That's likely why it was discarded way back when. All right, another pottery beer. Wow, I was stoked to just find one, and now I have more than I know what to do with. Kennedy Barrowfield Potteries, Glasgow. I mentioned earlier that was a very significant, very large-scale pottery works. I found ginger pop bottles made by this company out in Eastport, Maine. And we have our first intact American beer bottle. So far, so good. Huh. That's kind of wild. I've never seen one of these before. If anyone knows what this is, drop a comment, please. Oh yeah, it's an early one. All right, it's intact. Oh, it's got that sharp collar. And A&DHC, that's the Chambers Glass Company, I believe out of Pittsburgh. Now, if you look at it, you'll see the top has a kind of sharp collar. They stopped making those like that in the mid-1880s. I'd wager this thing's 1870s, maybe early 1880s. May have found the bottom, but there's still a few pieces. Oh, here we go. United States Army Hospital Department. There it is. So these bottles were made for the Union Army during the Civil War. It's faintly embossed. When the war ended, the surplus was sent out to frontier forts. Amazing. Oh, this thing's something. It's got some contents in it yet. Looks like could be paint, could be some kind of polish of some sort. I don't see any embossing on it. Sometimes those USA bottles are very faintly embossed though. I don't think this one is. That's really something. Got a bar glass, really thick pressed glass piece. All right, it's definitely an ale. No crown on this one, but it looks like it's a 3-piece mold. That early ale top on it. That thing's really something. I'm still working my way across here, and there's still more. What do we have here? Some kind of little key mold apothecary piece of some sort. I have a couple pieces down here. Let's see. Got a liquor flask. Wow, that's an early one. That's a tooled top. Put that at about 1880. What do we have here? This is a little aqua bottle. Again, it's got a key mold bottom, an applied top. That thing is really nice. I love how early the stuff is here. Could be one of those early Worcestershire sauces. There we go, and it's got a glass stopper. That is something else. Look at that. It's a Worcestershire. Yeah, Lee and Perrins right there. Nice. Still no end in sight. Looks like another Worcestershire sauce bottle. It's got an applied top. Yep, another Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce. And this thing I'd been working at for a bit. That's early. That's an early whiskey. Look at that thing. It's a 3-piece mold, an applied top. Do we have any embossing? Oh yeah, patent. I dug some of these on Fort Pembina. It's a patented style liquor bottle. I always found these in the earliest pits, probably 1870s. Some kind of a champagne bottle. Looks like an applied top. Yeah, it has the foil band around the neck. Well, the pit seems to be finishing up here. There's a few more pieces. I saw this aqua bottle sticking out. That's real nice. It's got an applied top, yeah, a key mold bottom. That's really something. Working my way across the north side of the pit here. It may have an intact plate. Looks like an ink bottle as well. What do we got here? Look at that. Wow, that's an umbrella ink. That's a classic piece there. This thing's 1860s, 1870s. Wow. Ironstone china plate. J&G Meakin. It's got that early black colored stenciling on the back. Look at that design. Look at that. It was broken, so they discarded it. That's early transferware there. I'm going to try to find all the pieces. another ginger beer bottle. That's awesome. Must be another from Barrowfield Potteries, Glasgow. Finishing out the north side of the pit here, and looks like we might have another medicine, maybe another pottery beer. Looks like it might be intact. So far, so good. All right, that's a wide top example. No stamping on this one. I love these things. Let's see here, a few broken pieces. Oh, another Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, another Lee and Perrins. An applied top. English made, maybe early American made for this company. This pit's done. Here's the hall. This was something else. Everything dated from the 1860s to 1880s. Got an amazing variety of pieces here. Has some tincture medicine bottles, Worcestershire sauce, food bottles, some bigger food bottles, and a mason jar. A bunch of beers, English ales, only a few liquor bottles, some wines, champagne. We did get a few Burnett's extracts, some transferware pieces, that ER Squib and USA Hospital Department bottle, some medicines. This was something else. Well, I'll get this thing filled back in. Sometimes you get a freebie. So the ground was cultivated here for trees. I noticed this sunken area here where it had been worked up, and I probed it out. I hit some compaction differences, some objects, and possibly some stove ashes. That's a good indicator of an early site. We'll get this thing opened up. As you can see, I'm down not even a couple of feet. We are definitely into something. Right away, we pulled this up. Look at this pattern. This is truly amazing. I'm guessing this is 1870s. We did get part of the bottom that has the British registry mark on it. That'll tell us what month and year the piece was made. It's definitely early transferware. And down here, we've got a couple pieces. Looks like some bottles. Oh yeah, it's got a ground lip. It's got some embossing. Bullock, Henshaw, Philadelphia. Look at that thing. I've never dug anything quite like this before. Likely held some kind of apothecary. Oh hey, what do we have here? Dr. Price's special flavoring extracts. That's really cool. You know, this is over 100 years old. I'm guessing this dates back to the 1880s. I'm into a solid use layer. You can see that color change. These are all undigested seeds. This is an old outhouse pit I'm digging in. Fortunately, they threw a bunch of stuff down it. Looks like a little medicine bottle. That's an oldie. I'd say this thing's definitely 1880s. No glass company mark on it. And another one. Yeah, little prescription bottles. These likely predate the town that was here. They were brought in by freighter for the early settlement. Oh wow. Looks like a little jackknife of some sort. Might have an emblem on it, I can't tell. But Yeah, this thing's also well over 100 years old. Alright, what do we have here? Wow. This is a sauce bottle of some sort. Looks like a crude applied top on it. Now look at that crude applied top. You can tell the glass looks like it's dripping down slightly from it. They stopped this kind of manufacturing process in the right around 1890. Huh. Okay, I believe this is a breast pump apparatus. An indicator there could have been a family living around the area. Wow, that is beautiful. Look at that. That's flow blue. It may be a willow pattern, but look at that design. That is something else. Here we go. This, I believe, is a little slate pencil. It's possible there were children living here with the family and they would have used this to scratch onto a slate chalkboard. Looks like a couple more bottles here. Seems like this site predates statehood. This is something else. Look at that, it's a Philadelphia oval style prescription bottle. These were used from the 1870s until around turn of the century. I believe this dates back to the 1880s. Oh wow, little ink bottle. Carter's ink. Not sure I've dug one from this company in this style. Got a unusual top there. You can see Carter's, again, 1880s, I'm sure. There's like 4 bottles showing here. What do we have here? Some embossing. Northwestern Homeopathic Pharmacy, Chicago. I've dug these before. I actually dug a couple in Yankton, South Dakota. I find these in early pits though. I'd put this at early 1880s. Got a big prescription bottle here. Maybe some kind of pharmaceutical. Huh. Yeah, there's no embossing on it, but it's got some good age. Probably circa 1880 as well. I've got a couple pieces in here. St. Jacob's Oil, A. Vogler and Company, Baltimore, Maryland. This was a popular product, really common patent medicine, dates back to 1880s. I find these all across the Midwest. That's an early sharp-collared beer. That's a turn mold. And when I mentioned sharp collar, you can see it's got that really kind of jagged collar underneath the top there. They stopped this manufacturing process right around 1885 to give an idea of what age this bit is. I still haven't found bottom here, but it looks like there's a few more beers showing. Oh, there we go. Okay, this has got the rounded top on it. It's a little newer than the last one I pulled up. What do we have here? LG company. So that's the glass company's mark right there. I'd put this at about 1885. Sometimes these will have the company names marked on it, the brewing company, but this one's blank. Broken shears. Look at that. Looks like the handle must have broken, so they discarded it. Maybe cast iron? Steel? Another beer bottle. This one's filled with groundwater. Looks like they broke the top when they pried the cork out. Another LG company 18. I'd put this one at about 1885 as well. Oh wow, some ironstone china. Looks like some kind of serving dish, possibly. Charles Meakin, England. I find these all across the US. Was a popular pottery company for its day. Okay, this could be a wine bottle of some sort. Looks like a turn mold, possibly. Yeah, it's a turn mold with an applied top. HH on bottom. This may actually be English made. Again, that 1880s date range. I think I've got a round bottom soda bottle here. These are usually a ginger ale type bottle. Looks like it's a blob top pre-Hutchinson soda. What do we got here? Oh yeah, it's applied. An applied top. Cantrell and Cochrane, Dublin and Belfast. This is a classic bottle. These are found all across early frontier sites in the Midwest. The bottles are said to have round bottoms so that when they got where they're going, they couldn't sit upright, which would let the cork dry out, and then the drink would lose carbonation. They have a little prescription type bottle, maybe a personal dose. Let's see here. Looks like a 3-piece mold. Huh. Any embossing on this thing? Nothing. This is an early one though. This was likely served at the establishment's hospital here. Could be 1870s. Looks like some kind of little prescription bottle over here. Maybe a Blake style of some sort. All right. Okay, another Northwestern homeopathic pharmacy bottle from Chicago. That's another 1880s piece. It was a really popular company. Well, this pit's about finished up. I found bottom. It's about 4 feet deep. There's some prescription bottles here in the corner. Yeah, looks like a French square style. No embossing. Definitely 1880s. And a Blake style. Too bad these aren't embossed. I don't think there were any drugstores around here at the time though. But that's a really nice little one. It's got some great age. Oh, here we go. Covered in lime. You see this white color. Lime was thrown down these outhouse pits way back when to disinfect the pit and neutralize the smell. It's a round style prescription. No embossing on this one either, but yeah, these are all 1880s. May have a round bottom soda. Looks like clear glass on this one. Oh. What's going on here? No way. I think that's silver. Wow. So this is a marble. They made these back during the turn of the century, late 1800s. They'd have animals, little figurines inside of the glass. Now this one's a bit hazy from being in the ground. You can see how there's a squirrel figurine in that. This is one of the coolest things I've ever found. Here's the hall. The site dated back to the 1880s. Got a good variety of early pieces. Some ironstone whiteware. All that transfer ware. That's really something. Got the Worcestershire sauce, little pharmaceutical, an extract, a soda, some beers, medicines, prescription bottles, ink, and a perfume. Well, there you have it. I'll get this thing filled back in. You'll see it kick some marks into the ground. This is a large site. I sunk a 7.5 foot rod into it. There's plenty of objects down there. So we'll get the topsoil off and see what's going on. This is unbelievable. Barely through the topsoil. Look at all this. Got an axe head, big little square nail, a lock, a couple tooled top bitters fragments, it looks like, and a bullet casing. The most interesting find though is this watch. It's might even have some fire damage on it. Hard to see if there's anything legible, but this seems promising. We'll continue on. We're down past some clay cap layer into some wood ash, down about 4 feet, and we found a ton of casings. Now these are rimfire. They're earlier than the center fire. I think these are 1870s. We also got this eagle button. That's definitely off of an enlisted man's uniform, officer's uniform. Look at that. We also have 2 pieces on the way out. Look at that. Just how they were dropped in 150 years ago. See if I can, there we go. Get one of these loose here. Nice. Wow. DSG company. This is some early stuff here. That is absolutely incredible. Let's see the other one. Oh, the tops on this one. Wow. Looks like maybe a key mold. Nothing home, but that is solid. I'd say 1870s, early 1880s. That is something else. Look at all these ashes. Some sides there, the clay are way down here, down about 7-8 feet. Water's starting to fill in. Solid wood ash. Nearing bottom. I don't know, maybe they've had some kind of regulations on throwing things down the ash dump, or provisions were slim. Hard to say. I've discovered this pit is oval shaped. Hit clay on the edges and did get, seems to be a whole bottle or a whole piece on the way out here. Wow, that's something. Huh. What is this thing? That's early. It's got some kind of a label on it. Some kind of a pattern there. I've never seen one of these before. I'll dump some water on the label and see if I can read it. Well, there hasn't been much in this ash dump, but looks like there's another piece here. Beer bottle. Got some markings on the bottom. I think it might be complete. Whole piece here. There's the side. Full of water. Oh, that is an early looking blob beer. Look at that thing. Oh, look at all those seed bubbles. Wow. Look at that crude top. See, it's got that sharp collar. That's earlier. It's like a DSG company. I believe that's the Steiger Glass Company, but don't quote me on that. I'll have to do some research. Wow. The site finished up. It was a massive ash dump. It was roughly 8 feet deep and irregular in shape. But here's the haul. This was something else. It's so early for this area. You can see the bullet casings, a few beer bottles. That one on the right's an English food. Not entirely sure about that ribbed bottle. I'll do a little research on it. But we'll get this filled back in and move on to the next site. We had spent days gritting this out. You'll see some markers, some areas where the ground's been disturbed. We dug some test holes. We confirmed the barracks once stood there. And we hadn't found the pit yet, but I was walking around back here and I noticed some glass fragments on the ground. You may see it's a bit sunken as well. I'd pushed a probe rod through the ground. I hit some compaction differences, some gravel. Surprisingly, that's not natural here, and some other objects. We'll get this thing opened up. I think we found it. I was scooping with the backhoe for a while. I noticed the soil started changing color. You'll see that kind of brown color. There was also some bright white layers. And when I dumped out the bucket, this rolled out. Looks like an 1880s beer bottle. That is something else. It's got an applied top. We've got a long way to go though, so I'll climb down and get to work. We're into a solid use layer. There is so much stuff down here. It all looks, they have some great age. Looks like an applied top beer made by Reed and Company. That's got to be 1880s. You can see this color change in the soil. This is a use layer from an old outhouse pit. So we got a shoe polish bottle. That's a tooled top, circa 1880s. And a shoe fly liquor flask. You'll notice the soil is soft down here. As I mentioned, this is a manure layer. This is, again, that 1880s era. Another applied top beer. Oh, that is beautiful. It's a turn mold piece. Would have had a foil band around the top there, cork top. Nice. And another applied top beer. ABG Company. I believe that's American Bottle and Glass Company. The number is just the mold. What do we have here? Now this pit is military related. Sometimes there's United States Army medical bottles. This isn't one, but it could have definitely been sold here at the Fort's Hospital. Look at all this stuff. Wow, that is a liquor quart there. It's one of the biggest coffin whiskeys I've ever dug. And a shoe polish. So the soldiers would have been keeping their boots real tidy. I find a lot of these in these frontier forts. one's full of groundwater. Look at that. Another, oh, LG company. I forgot the company that made these, but this is also 1880s. Would have had a cork top. Sometimes these are marked on the side of the company as well. This one isn't. And another shoe polish. It's a tooled top. Look at these. This is incredibly early for this part of the country. Got a SB&G company. That's the Streeter Bottle and Glass Company of Streeter, Illinois. Another cork top. That is something else. I am blown away. Another shoe polish, boot polish bottle. Same tooled top. Nice aqua color. And another. This one, there we go. Got some writing on this one. Looks like Acme blacking. Oh wow, yeah, that's cool to find those with the writing on them. That's again from the 1880s. We are definitely on the right track here. Looks like a couple of old ale bottles. They're black glass, could be English made. You'll see it's still a solid use layer. I think this thing's intact. Look at that. That's got to be a quart size. Oh yeah, that's an applied top. No markings on it. That is a classic piece right there. Maybe a beer of some sort. Ah, that's an old one. That's got a really nice honey amber color too. DOC on the bottom, that's likely the glass works. Yeah, that's an applied top. It's got some amazing iridescence. And another one. Wow. Let's see here. Another applied top beer. BG company and a T. Look at that, and that's a key mold. You'll see the circle in those lines. It's from the mold plates pressing the molten glass together at the factory. This would have been a cork top, sealed with a cork. There's another one below this. Got another SB&G company, Streeter Bottle and Glass Company of Streeter, Illinois. This is incredible age for this part of the country. Another applied top piece. Just an X on the bottom. That is unusual. I don't think there's any embossing on this thing. That is so crude though. Wow. And another beer. And another one. And a medicine. This pit is loaded, so this must be the area under the bench where all the stuff would have been dropped down. Potter Chemical Company. Could take your resolvent, that's a patent medicine. The bottles are just stacked down here. Oh wow. What's this? I've never seen one of these. I see Chicago, Illinois. Brady. Brady and something whiskey. It looks like a Duffy's, but this is something different. Looks like an applied top. It's got a monogram. This is significant. This is something really special. Look at all those seed bubbles in it. And another applied top beer bottle. C & Company LIM. I've dug these before. There's no other embossing. This would have had a paper label on it. Another applied top piece. DOC on the bottom. I don't see any embossing otherwise. Yeah, applied top, cork top beer. Looks like another beer bottle. Still a solid use layer. May have found bottom here at about 8 feet. Another applied top. Looks like a LG company. It's got a key mold bottom, cork top. We've got another beer bottle here. Looks like another early one. Oh yeah, another applied top piece. DOC 17 on the bottom. No embossing. Circa 1885. Heading south in the pit now. There's no end in sight. I haven't found the north side either. Got this beer bottle loose. Another applied top piece covered in lime. No other embossing. Again, 1880s. It looks like some kind of prescription bottle here. And another bottle behind it. Look at that. That's a Philadelphia oval style. No embossing, but that's got some great iridescence on it. Another beer, some kind of ale, champagne possibly. It's got a partial label, but nothing else. That's, I think, yeah, an applied top turn mold piece. These soldiers like to drink beer, I guess. Look at that. This one's a beautiful honey amber color. Applied top, DOC 21 on bottom. And another beer. Look at all these in here. Looks like 4 more. Yeah, they're just wedged together in here. Another applied top. Got some amazing iridescence. AGWL on bottom. That's the glassworks. And another one. What is going on here? Gotta be careful prying these loose so I don't chip something. This one had a foil band on it. Reed & Company. Yeah, again, that has some amazing iridescence. Okay. Looks like some more boot polish. The Acme blacking, trademark. Philadelphia. The soldiers were keeping their boots shined. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff down here. Yeah, another Acme blacking. Must have been a popular product in the barracks. Looks like another beer. What is going on here? Another applied top. Reed and Company. Look, it almost looks blue. It's got so much opaling on it. And another. Surprisingly few liquor bottles in this pit. Maybe they were only allowed to drink beer. That's all that was shipped into the fort. There's a couple more behind it. Streeter Bottle and Glass Company of Streeter, Illinois. Another applied top piece. Oh, hey, a horseshoe. Oh, that's really cool. Fairly corroded. Might clean up well. And another beer. Another Reed and Company applied top. Huh. Maybe another boot polish. No embossing on this thing. Tooled top. And another beer. It makes me wonder how many of these weren't supposed to be used. Maybe they were thrown down the pit, hide the evidence. Maybe the soldiers weren't supposed to be drinking. It's not a lot that was thrown down here for the size of the pit. This one's beautiful. It's got some seed bubbles. Now, what's going on here? Huh. This was unusual. I haven't found anything quite like this yet. Looks like oh, Worcestershire sauce. That's a 1880s Worcestershire sauce bottle. That is something else. Whatever this was, some kind of preserve container. Almost looks terracotta or something. I don't see any maker's marks on it. It's got an Albany slip glaze inside. Looks like a couple more beers. One's broken, but looks like two of them are intact. Huh. Yeah, another applied top piece. It's a turn mold. Doesn't look like there's any other embossing. There might be a couple bottles in here. Another applied top beer. Just an M on the bottom. These are some nice early pieces. See that? It's got a key mold. A really crude top. I don't think there's any embossing. Sometimes these will have a slug plate. This one doesn't. It's a nice piece though. Another beer bottle. Applied top. The soldiers like their beer, I guess. DOC on bottom. Another embossing. That's a nice lighter amber color. Well, a couple bottle shapes we haven't seen yet here in this pit. Could be some kind of medicine here. Let's see what we have. Yeah, this could have been brought out of the fort's hospital. It's a tool top. Definitely some kind of pharmaceutical piece. Looks like it could be as late as 1890. Could be 1880s. This looks like a pumpkin seed whiskey of some sort. It's appearing to be intact. Let's see, do we have any embossing? Oh, that's a nice, is it quart size? That's a nice size piece. That's definitely 1880s there. I think we got it cleared back down to where we were. There was a lot of dirt we had to move. Looks like some kind of ale bottle. What do we have here? Oh, black glass wine. That's really something. That's got an applied top. That's definitely 1880s for sure. Over here, I've been working on some kind of boot. And I see some brass. Oh, nice. Look at that. Got a pair of brass spurs. These are no doubt from the cavalry. That is something else. It looks like one of them must have broken on the end here, so it was discarded. And oh, those are definitely government issued. I've got another one down here. What do we have? Looks like a crude whiskey bottle. Turn mold applied top. It's got a partial label, nothing left on it though. And maybe another one. I got a applied top beer bottle. So the soldiers were drinking. There's definitely some cavalry officers staying here in the barracks. AGWL on bottom. This one has some amazing iridescence as well. It looks like there's maybe a beer or a whiskey sticking out of the wall here. What do we have? Looks like a beer. Yeah, it's got an applied top, AGWL on the bottom as well. No other embossing. You can see it was into a solid use layer there, all that brown color. I'm towards the bottom here. I see a couple more beer bottles, I believe. Not sure if I found the side yet or not. These are wedged into the clay. They've been down here a long time. Another applied top beer bottle. Turn mold on this one. No embossing. I think this one's filled with groundwater. Yeah, another applied top. Huh. This is a SB&G Company F. This is an early mark for this company. I'm guessing this is early 1880s. I believe they started manufacturing bottles in 1881. It's definitely one of their first. Looks like some kind of aqua piece. Might be our first aqua beer bottle out of here. There's a couple other pieces here too. Okay, it's got the rounded collar. ABG Company 4 on the bottom. That's an applied top. Would have been sealed with a cork. This one over here could be interesting. It's got some panels on it. And nice. It's a penny pipe. This is an old one. Sometimes these have the maker's marks on them. Let's see. Oh, it's hard to read. You can see the stamping on the side there. But I wonder what this thing could be. Okay, it might be a liquor bottle. Haven't found a lot of these in here. Oh, there we go. That's a quart shoe fly style liquor bottle full of groundwater. As you can see, it was in a heavy use layer. Maybe another beer. Getting all kinds of stuff in here. Maybe some paper, leftover toilet paper from the pit. Oh yeah, might have a couple bottles here. Gotta be careful with this cloth. Yeah, I got another beer. Yeah. DOC 6 on bottom. No other embossing. Another beer. These just start being embossed. Let's see. Looks like a key mold bottom. No other embossing. I would have had a paper label. You can see some remnants on there, that red color. And another. I'm amazed. This might be a record number of beer bottles. Turn mold, applied top. I thought I found the side, but this pit keeps going. Probably another beer bottle. Oh, here we go. It's got a little prescription, Philadelphia oval style. Would have had a paper label on the front. Sometimes these are embossed. This one's blank. Oh, and we got another one. Oh, this is wild. Here we go. Some kind of like terracotta pot lid. So this is a preserve jar lid. I actually found pieces of the broken preserve jar. Earlier, these would have held likely pickled goods of some sort. All right, these are kind of wedged in here. All right, some kind of a wine bottle. Again, has that red label on the front. This one might actually be a turn mold. Okay, applied top. Turn mold, applied top wine bottle. And another one. Full of groundwater. And applied top turn mold beer. It's the usual at this point. It's got that foil band around the top. And another beer. I think I'm going for a record number of these things now. C&Co LAM4 on the base. Getting a variety of companies anyway. There's a pile of cloth and leather in the pit, and I believe this is a pair of socks issued by the U.S. Quartermaster's Department. It's hard to tell because they're so crunched up. I don't want to be too rough and break them, but there's also a piece of what I believe is a frock coat. This was also military issued. There's all kinds of leather behind here as well, but we do have a couple more bottles here. It looks like another beer filled with groundwater. SB&G company, I believe. And applied top. That's a 1880s like everything else in here. I believe there's some kind of a English ale. I saw the top of it sticking out. Or it could be a beer. Okay, it's a beer. Got a different style top to it than we've been finding. LG company. Another generic piece with no embossing on the side. I managed to get through all that leather. Seems it was something to do with horses. Could be part of a hitching mechanism, maybe a horse bridle. Looks like another blob top beer. C & Company LAM on the bottom. Acme blacking. Yeah, this must have been the stuff they were using. I've found a bunch of these now. And another one. This one embossed. Let's see. No embossing on this one. Could have just been a generic piece. Still has the cork in it though. That's cool. But anyway, kind of hitting the clay layers here. A couple more pieces of leather, but I think this pit's done. This was no doubt one of the more significant excavations I've been on. Everything here dated back to the 1880s and was no doubt used by the barracks. We got a variety of pieces. All this leather indicates cavalry. There's some preserve jars, a couple wines, an incredible amount of beers. Look at all of those. Could be a new record. A lot of boot polish, some odds and ends, medicines, and a few liquor bottles. I was amazed at the beer to liquor ratio. Well, there you have it. Got a ways to go. We'll get this thing filled back in.